Let's do what I know now. And today I'm going to do Maya Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou, poet, author, playwright. And this is a letter that she wrote to her younger self. Okay? Um, Quote, don't let anybody raise you. You've been raised. Okay? Born Marguerite Johnson, Dr. Maya Angelou was raised by her mother, Lady Vivian Baxter, a self-possessed, successful entrepreneur and businesswoman who owned a hotel and wore diamonds in her ears. Unmarried, Marguerite was pregnant when she finished high school in the summer of 1945. Her son was born in September, and she decided to leave home 2 months later. Leaving the comfort of her mother's big house, which had live-in help, was characteristic of Dr. Angelou's courage and fierce sense of independence or insanity. You decide. She was gone on to embrace and excel at a dizzying array of disciplines. She speaks French, Italian, Spanish, and West African Fanti. She has danced on stage, composed music, written plays, directed and acted in movies. In the 1960s, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. asked her to become the Northern Coordinator for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And in 1993, President Bill Clinton requested that she write a poem for his inauguration. And I believe she was the poet laureate for the United States while Bill Clinton was president. Dr. Angelou has written prodigiously 6 autobiographies, including the bestseller, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. That was her first book that I read. It was referred to me by a librarian at my high school. Published by Random House in 1969, 3 children's books, 6 plays, and 2 screenplays, numerous books of poetry, and other books. Just Give Me a Cool Drink of Water 'Fore I Die, a collection of her poetry. Earned a Pulitzer Prize nomination in 1971. And I believe that's the one that's got Still I Rise and Phenomenal Woman, all of those. So check that out. Just Give Me a Cool Drink of Water 'Fore I Die, a collection of her poetry. Okay, in 1981, she was appointed to a lifetime post as Reynolds Professor of American Studies at Wake Forest University. Let me also point out that she was never sued for plagiarism or for copying another artist's work, and no one has ever came forward to say that Dr. Maya Angelou ever took any work from them. Let me say that. Also, let me tell you about being a poet. For all the things that she did publish, best believe there's a million other things that she didn't. Believe that. Okay? So she says, the avalanche of achievement could not have seemed more improbable on the day the 17-year-old Marguerite left her mother's house with a 2-month-old son in her arms. She had found a job, a room with cooking privileges down the hall, and a landlady who would babysit. In my own situation, my mom kicked me out when Jonathan was brand new, a newborn. I had been home from the hospital for maybe 1 day, and I had gotten home and realized that Marianne and Carolyn had stolen all of my clothes. And do you hear what I'm saying? Everything. I did not have no clothes because those bitches while I was pregnant with Jonathan, stole every goddamn stitch of clothing that I had. The only thing I had was the outfit that I went to the fucking hospital in and what I came home in. And that little cunt had been on a fucking date, and we couldn't even open the front door of our house. Okay? This little bitch had been on a fucking date, and when she was coming around the side of the house to the back door, I ambushed that ass and beat the cowboy shit out of her. And my mom put me out of the house with my newborn son, and I had to call his daddy. I had to call Fred to take me to Carolyn's house where she was shacked up with a lesbian. Okay? And where I got a job at a cleaning place, a laundry, like a dry cleaners. And while I was gone dry cleaning and left my baby with Carolyn, my son, a newborn, was molested. And if it wasn't for Doll being there, an older lady, she was Sydney's mom, Jonathan was screaming and hollering, and I was just so outdone until I didn't even have the sense to call the paramedics. That's what my family put my ass through. And these are Jehovah's Witnesses and all this shit. And the only reason why is because they felt like I can get over on white people better than them because of my skin color. Yet I've never tried to get over on white people. Ain't that something? It don't come into my mind. I've never cheated on a drug test. I don't do that. Never sold dope. Never dated the dope man. Never. The only money that I put on books for inmate is for my little brother. Let's be clear. That's why I could go overseas to work. When they did a background check for me, no problem. Here's Maya's letter to herself. Dear Marguerite, you're itching to be on your own. You don't want anybody telling you what time you have to be in at night or how to raise your baby. You're going to leave your... That's what she's mad about? You're going to leave your mother's big comfortable house and she won't stop you because she knows you too well. But listen to what she says. When you walk out of my door, don't let anybody raise you. You've been raised. You know right from wrong. In every relationship you make, you'll have to show readiness to adjust and make adaptations. Remember, you can always come home. You will go home again when the world knocks you down or when you fall down in full view of the world, but only for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. Your mother will pamper you and feed you your favorite meal of red beans and rice. You'll make a practice of going home so she can liberate you again, one of the greatest gifts, along with nurturing your courage, that she will give you. Be courageous, but not foolhardy. Walk proud as you are, Maya. So what do y'all think about that? Have I written a letter to myself? No, because for me, it wouldn't even be a letter. It'd just be one sentence, follow your first mind. And when I look back over my life, my first mind was to leave Texas immediately. That was my first mind. And the only reason why I didn't is because At the time, Pamela had referred me to a job working at Sam's Club, and when I went there, they actually hired me. But if I had any sense, I should have left. And I even had customers to tell me, get out of Texas. Get out of Texas. When I ran into Jonathan's daddy, I wasn't feeling him. Not at all. I didn't feel nothing for him. I didn't feel attraction for him. I didn't feel anything for him. And that's the truth. It wasn't love at first sight. It wasn't, he made my belly do a flip. And I can tell you these things because I've had guys that do that for me. Make the palms of my hands sweat, baby. Make when I hear their voice, just my stomach do a loop-de-loop. I never felt that way for Fred. Bless his heart. And a lot of men think just because they got money or they got a car, but they can't make their woman feel like that. You know, that's something. That's something, honey. And it's amazing. And what I loved about it is that he felt the same way too. It wasn't just me, just one-sided. But, he felt that same chemistry, energy, whatever it is that you call it. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And I wish that for everybody. Be that somebody that just makes you feel like a woman. Not like a piece of meat, not like, I don't even know what Jonathan's daddy was thinking, why he was interested in me, why he was, I don't know what that was. But I know for myself, I didn't feel anything. And I gave him a chance to try to get to know him. And the more that I found out about him, the more I wasn't attracted to him. I needed a place to stay and everything like that. But as soon as I found another place to stay, I was out of there. And when it went left, I called him. I did. I called him. And he basically said I could come back. But I knew I didn't feel that way about him. And I knew that he was into this other girl. Because when I was staying at the house, out of necessity, it was sheer necessity. Because Carolyn, I moved in with her, and she moved out and moved in with Sydney, her friend. Yes, she did, honey. I had a newborn son. And this cunt moved out after her cunt. I don't know what to say. Sydney knows how to lick a poisson, honey. That's all I don't know what to say. But family ain't a thing. I got a little bit of time, so I'm going to tell you this other story. A little bit further down the line, as Jonathan got older, me and my dad got into it because this babysitter that I took Jonathan to while I was going to school. I was at business school this time, and he referred a babysitter for me, an older black lady, and she was starving Jonathan. I put hands on my daddy because of that, because he's the one who referred me. Because when I went down to that old bitch's house, she wouldn't answer the door. Okay? And so I went after my dad about that shit. And he called the police on me and said my daughter's gonna kill me. And he about right. He was about right. Behind Jonathan. I don't think I ever told him this story. I didn't tell Jonathan and Joseph a whole lot of things because, number one, they never asked. And number two, I never had the peace of mind and time to sit around and talk to them. We were always busy. Homework and running here and band practice, busy. Even when we sat on Saturday morning in Herman Park and fed the ducks and stuff, we were focused on the ducks. I never sat and told them anything. And like I say, all of the work that they have to do with school and stuff like that, they never asked me no questions about anything. When I took Jonathan to college with me, he would go to college classes with me, and he was brilliant. I would take Joseph to plays and stuff like that, and the symphony, which he loved, getting tortellini and stuff. That was the first time. Spinach tortellini and all of that kind of stuff. Oh, yes, honey. So we never had time to just sit and I wasn't even trying to revisit most of this stuff. Okay, but as you know, what you're really meant to do, you got to look back over that and dig through that rubbish. And at this time, this is why it's good for me to be doing this with you, because it gives me the opportunity, now that I don't have any kids, now that I am not around my horrible, toxic, horrible family. In case y'all were ever wondering, why am I in Seattle? Why did I bring Joseph to Seattle? Why did I bring Jonathan to Seattle? This is why. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to put my resume into Goldman Sachs. Because that's what my people are, obviously, by reading this book. Okay, another reason why you need to get familiar with different books. Check them out. Make notes. Highlight. Okay, get you some Post-it notes and put in them pages, honey, so you can refer back to that. Look, I got my Post-it notes. This is my Bible, though. Look, I got my Post-it notes. I write them notes in there. You got to do that. This is a journey. You can't know everything, but it's awesome. And then you'll be able to write a letter to yourself. What I know now. Get out of town. Get away from your family as far as you can go, and change your name, and never, ever, ever contact them again. Talk to y'all later. Bye.